Welcome back to Music Theory Logic. My name's Andrew, and I'm currently working on a music theory breakdown. You may have seen these. I drop them every Friday. Right now, I'm working on a breakdown for Range Brothers, which is Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar. I reached a point in the track where I needed to custom build a sound to try to replicate the 808, and I thought it'd be a useful thing to show you. I'm going to be using SERUM today. Let's go ahead into the Logic session. So here we are in Logic Pro. I have a default version of SERUM pulled up here. You may not recognize it with the colors. I have a custom skin loaded up. It's kind of a fun thing to do when you've been looking at the same VST forever. Before we build the sound, I'm going to play the track in context. I'm not going to play the actual original one because with the level of artists that these are, this video that could very well get blocked, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to play the beat, just the beginning, and then I encourage you to listen to the original while I'm doing this so that you can hear the 808 as I have done the same thing, and we're going to try to, again, replicate it. So here's my instrumental. Doesn't sound that great. That's why we need to build the 808. Here it is. All right, we really only need to hear that much of it. Once again, if you find these helpful, you'd help me out a ton by subscribing to the channel. If you do that, you'll see a video series every single Friday that's called Music Theory Breakdowns, where I take a song that is popular to some group of people around the world and or has been just requested. Like this artist was actually requested in the comments, and I recreate the instrumental so I can talk about the music theory. I'm not going to cover much of it right now, other than I have this bass line loaded in, which is just playing one note, but there's a lot of movement in this note, and this is essentially our 808. So again, I loaded up an initial SERUM. We'll hear that on its own. It's not going to sound that great, but then we're going to custom build the patch. So here it is. With the default sound, not great. Cool. So it's not super far off actually, in that like we do hear kind of a sort of a sine wave, if you will. In the beginning, we hear whatever waveform that would be called. Brain isn't working that great. But bear with me. So I'm going to load in the analog BD sine. This is going to be a lot of the low end that we hear. Let's hear what that does to it. Cool. So you probably notice how quick that changed it. So we added some low end. Now I'm going to use this LFO1 to control basically as an envelope. I did this on my SERUM Building 808s video. I got this from the artist most of the world knows as Kill the Noise. During COVID, I was part of his Discord server, and shout out to Jake. He helped a ton of us, and this is one of the things he was talking about, creating like a custom trail. You can do this for building drum sounds or one hits, and basically what's going to happen is the audio is going to go from loud to soft, or it's going to follow this line. So it starts at the top and it goes to the bottom. So it's going to start out fast and then go away. It's at a quarter note right now. Let's hear what that sounds like. Let's hear half note. Cool. Then I'm going to use some FM. We're going to FM from A. This is going to make it more like gritty or more like a harmonic. I like it. Let's add some noise. Cool. Let's go on, add some effects. Let's get some distortion going. Some compression. Cool. And then one of the reasons I really wanted to do this video, I could tell it was doing this, and this is something that when you're trying to replicate sounds or you're trying to build sounds that you're maybe imagining, the first step is to understand what all these different tools with whatever instrument you're using do. So what do the effects do? How does that change the sound? And that helps you to figure out what's happening. So one thing that's interesting about this song is we hear the real aggressive stab, and then it kind of goes away and it comes back. And it sounds to me like there's actually some filtering going on with the instrument. So basically going from the top back down, this is basically on our, like a low pass. This will work for us, full mix. And then what's also interesting about this is it seems like it's going on a 2-bar speed. So we're going to hear a lot of the top of the instrument, and then it's going to go away and it'll come back. So let's hear what this does to the sound. Sounds pretty good to me. Let's figure out a better spot for our... Cool, and then we could highlight that same sound with this EQ. I can control the filter. This is basically a secondary low pass. What low pass means is the lower frequencies are passing through or they're getting to the speaker. So when you're looking at an EQ, stuff on the left is low, stuff on the right is high. This line you see is essentially the volume of stuff from low to high. So we see the high cut off, and then I'll automate the frequency. So that's going to cut off more. I'm going to start it up at the top. We'll do something like that. Cool. Getting close. Let's add some interesting movement into our 808. I'm going to add a reverb that's basically going to happen on the second quarter part of a quarter note. So it's not going to happen, and then it's going to come in. Cool. Let's experiment with adding one more oscillator. Let's put it through our filter. Cool. Finally, we could add some other interest in something like this. Cool. So let's go ahead. Let's name this. We've got how about a baby Keem 808. And I like to add ish because it's not perfect. It's just a good approximation. I always forget. And then let's add one of my tags, drusounds. If you look that up on Twitter and Instagram, you will find me. Once again, my name is Andrew. Let's hear this from the beginning with our 808 that we just added. Cool. I think it definitely adds a lot. It's not perfect, but it's super close, and hopefully you got a lot out of that. If you haven't used Serum, I find it's a pretty simple thing to use. What's also cool is I'm not the only person that's made videos on this. Shout out to all the different video creators who made videos on Serum in the past, because that's essentially how I learned to do that. If you found this helpful, you'd help me out a ton by subscribing to the channel. Stay tuned for the full music theory breakdown of this track, Range Brothers. Be kind to your fellow human being, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.